Okay, let's title these notes Writing Effective Vocabulary Sentences. And remember that these will go into your 3-ring binder in the vocab section. And I'd like you to use these rules to double check your sentences each time you write them for a vocabulary lesson. And you'll start practicing today when you double check them against your peers' sentences. Your sentence. First of all, we're talking about definition. You should use the sentence according to its correct definition. So if I were to say, as I walked through the classroom, I jumped down to the floor, that wouldn't make much sense. I would use the word fell instead of jumped. That's a very simple example. Some of you are dealing with some pretty complicated words. Some of you have chosen words that you do not understand. If you do not understand the word itself, you'll have trouble using it according to its correct definition. So, advice? Choose words you understand. Remember, in the vocab lessons, you can choose what you'd like within certain restrictions, but nobody's forcing you into a word that is so alien, sophisticated, and strange that you can't possibly write a sentence demonstrating its understanding. So choose words you understand. Take a look at your peers' vocab sentences for a moment. If they've underlined the vocabulary word, fantastic. Think about those for yourself for a moment. How many of those do you understand off the bat? And if some of those are pretty confusing to you, chances are they're confusing to the writer, and it might have been a bad choice. Next, I'd like you to include enough context clues for an ignorant reader to develop a definition. Now, remember that ignorant does not mean stupid. Ignorant means somebody doesn't know something. So if somebody didn't know your word, would your sentence help them know it? If the answer is no, you haven't written it effectively. If the answer is yes, then your sentence is clear, includes context clues, and you've just taught somebody something. Here's a good example. B's example from vocab lesson number 3. It's an excellent example of this being properly done. The word is access. She's used it according to its correct definition. It seems to work. Can somebody tell me what she's included in the sentence that helps me understand what access means if I didn't know what it meant? Let's say it's a totally alien word to me. Lauren. Uh-huh. Safe and code. I know that, oh, a code allows me to open a safe, to gain entry into a safe. That must be what access means. B's sentence is excellent because if I didn't know what access means, now I do, because of the safe and the code clues. Let me give you an example of how she could have written this poorly. We accessed the safe. This one does not work. Why not? Why doesn't that sentence help me, Harold? Yeah, there's no explanation for what access means. I still have the safe, but I don't have the entry code. So, Harold, according to this sentence, what could access mean? What could I be doing to the safe? I could be destroying it. Yeah, I could be throwing it off a cliff. We accessed the safe. I threw it off a cliff. Therefore, I accessed it. That doesn't make any sense. What else could we be doing to the safe? We could be locking it. If B's sentence allowed me to think of the opposite definition, which this one does, then it really doesn't work. So I might say, oh, you locked the safe, right? That's what access means. It means to close. No, that's the exact opposite. But that's not what B did. B included some excellent context clues to help me understand what access means. This criterion, this way that I'll grade you, will take a little bit of practice. And it'll probably be one of the biggest challenges that you face in writing these sentences. But it can be done. I mean, that sentence was simple, straightforward and to the point, did exactly what I want. You must use the word according to its correct part of speech. Use a noun as a noun, a verb as a verb, and you may think about some of the comments that I've made on your vocab lessons, because sometimes I do call you on that. I say use it according to its correct part of speech. Because sometimes you don't. And sometimes that goes back to issue number 1. You don't understand the word, so you don't even know it's part of speech. Once again, pick words that you understand. So if B had written, I bought an access safe, that doesn't make any sense. Access is not an adjective. It can't modify safe. She used it as a verb. It was effective. Sentence must be complete. No run-ons, comma splices, or fragments. And again, some of you have lost points for this. Directions have always said write a sentence. Now that might mean that you want to write a compound sentence using semicolons or conjunctions to join two different clauses together because you want context clues. That's fine. I don't have a problem with a complicated sentence, but I want one intact, complete sentence. And I'll probably be pretty lenient on rambling sentences, as long as they're grammatically complete. No run-ons. This one kind of drives me nuts. You guys have a dictionary in front of you, and you still misspell words sometimes. And you have been losing points for it if you've been misspelling words. So just make sure it's correctly spelled. Five criteria. 5 thoughts are running through my head when I grade your sentences, or I should say when I will grade your sentences. Definition, context clues, part of speech, completeness, and spelling. So let's do these one step at a time. I want you providing some feedback to your fellow student. And I'd like you writing that in the 3 spaces below. So I want you writing feedback on what doesn't work for you. Start with, let's start with context clues. Let's start with number 2. Read your sentence. Read the first sentence on your list. Yes, Lauren? Okay. Good point. Okay, yeah, I apologize. I should have directed authors to underline. I'm pretty sure it's interested, microchips, accessory, and reverse. If you don't know, please, Miranda, who's your author? Oh, okay. Hold on one second. Anybody else in Lauren's situation where you don't understand which word is in question? B, who's your author? I'm sorry? Drew? Okay, well, ask what the, throw it back to Drew. Drew, underline your sentences, or underline your words. Okay. All right. Sorry, folks, double check. Miranda, you have a sentence you'd like to work with? Ow, that was painful. Hold on. There, that's better. Miranda, why don't you, I'll give you the keyboard. Let's use Miranda's sentence as an example on how to do this, and then all of you can work on the individual ones that you have. So remember, I'm asking you to look at that first sentence to determine whether or not you now understand the word based on the sentence. What if you had no clue what that word meant? If you did not know that word at all, would this help you? Is that set to all caps, Miranda? Okay, well, just go ahead and click that off. Seems like it's screaming at me, you know. Football is an object that can be intercepted. So Miranda, what's the vocab word? Okay. Give me definitions of intercepted that can work in this sentence. Could it mean purchased? No? A football is an object that can be purchased. Is that true?
Yes.
Is there anything in the sentence that tells me otherwise?
No.
No. So it can be purchased. What else could a football be? What else can you do with a football? Or to a football? Colby? Okay. That can be taken. Thrown. Matthew? Harold? Dropped. One more. I don't know. What if I have no clue what intercepted means? And I have no clue how to analyze words. I don't understand how to take apart prefix, root, suffix. I'm the ignorant reader. You've got to put yourself in the position of somebody that knows nothing about football, knows nothing about this word. So a football is an object that can be, I don't know, it's a relatively unclear sentence. Now, in terms of the other four criteria, and Miranda, this will help you focus. In terms of the other four, it works. Is it used according to its correct definition? Yes. Who's the author? Lauren? So Lauren has shown me that she knows what intercepted means just fine. Is it a complete sentence? Yes. Did she spell it correctly? Yes. Did she use it according to its correct part of speech? Yes. So she's 4 out of 5. So she's doing well. We just need to work on that last one. So can somebody give me a football and interception sentence that would work, that would give context clues? And you don't have to use hers. Just give me some sort of football interception idea that would help me understand what an interception is. Cole?
Quarterback threw the ball to the wide receiver, a defense intercepted the ball.
Thank you. That works. This one sentence is clear. It's not too long. It's a compound sentence, 2 clauses. It tells a little story, and that little story helps me out. The quarterback threw the football to the wide receiver, but the defense intercepted it. I now know because I've got quarterback and defense and this word but, which indicates to me that something happened that wasn't supposed to happen. That intercepted must mean that somebody has caught it and interrupted this throw. That sentence works. Thank you, Colby. So I'd like you all looking at your sentences for a moment and deciding whether or not your author includes enough context clues for you to understand. Throw yourself in the position of the ignorant person, and then go through each sentence. You might have 2 on your page. You might have, hopefully, a 4 on your page. Go through each sentence and ask yourself that question. Are there enough context clues? And below it, if there are not, then below it, I'd like you to write not enough context clues or something to that effect. Miranda?
So that's what I would write.
That's what you would write for Lawrence, not enough context clues. Do it in some way that it's clear. So your handwriting is pretty distinctly different from your author's. That would clarify it. But if you want to use pen or some other color, then you might do that as well. Whatever you think, Landon, would work for your author best. Okay, thank you. A few sentences. So the first one, my shirt is interchangeable. Allie, tell me what you're thinking about that sentence in terms of the context clues.
Is that enough one?
Okay, so considering what you know about shirts, what might somebody be saying about a shirt?
Like the color?
Okay, sure. We could be talking about color. So my shirt is, well, that probably, I probably wouldn't think that's a color word. What might I say to describe a shirt besides calling it by its color?
The size.
Okay, so I could be saying it's too small. I could be saying it's too big. What else could I be saying about a shirt? It's dirty. What else? Right, I could be actually saying it's interchangeable, or no, it's not interchangeable, reversible, sorry. Could be saying it's reversible. Not enough. So, Allie, here's the question to you. What do you add? Who's the author? Chase. What is Chase adding to this sentence to fulfill my requirement of context clues? I'll tell you what, I can do it by keeping what he has there and just adding some information. My shirt is interchangeable. And throw that question over to the entire class. How might Chase change this, add some information that would help me understand what interchangeable means?
My shirt is interchangeable, so I can wear both ways.
I think interchangeable means that I can change it with a different shirt and there's no real difference. Reversible means I can turn it inside out. So Miranda, you're on the right track, and I like where you were going with the sentence, but we need this idea that I can wear this shirt or that shirt. It doesn't make a difference. They all fulfill the same role. Like, as a professional, I own like 5 just standard blank white dress shirts, right? Those are all interchangeable. Doesn't make a difference. They're all the same shirt, basically, right? So that's what we're going for. What can we do? Add some information. Harold.
My shirt is interchangeable and both sides look cool.
But that's the reversible idea again. We're not talking about turning it inside out. We're talking about trading it out for a different shirt. That's okay. You know what, Harold? If you wrote that sentence, my shirt is interchangeable, so and both sides look cool, talking about reversibility, then I would say good context clues. However, now you violated the first criterion. That's not the correct definition of interchangeable. So you've traded out one for another lost point. Allie, could you do some typing for me, please? So my shirt is interchangeable, comma, no, take the comma out. Space. Because it looks like all the rest that I own. Okay. It's okay. Thank you. That's better. Do I need your context clues to be rock solid, perfect, give somebody a definition? No. In my response to Aaron, I said, I don't want a sentence like that. It doesn't really do much for me. It doesn't show you using the word. It just shows you defining it. But this helps. Oh, wait a minute. It looks like all the rest that this person owns. Therefore, it must be in some way similar to them, and that's part of the interchangeability idea. That you can trade something out and it works just fine. But B, you did notice, or B, sorry, Al, you did notice that this is misspelled, right? Add an E. Make sure you're correctly spelling it. So that sentence would have lost 2 points. Delete, please. No, not delete. Not, yeah, there you go. Thank you. I can see a macrostructural insect on the table. Kylie, whose is this? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Trevor, whose is this? Michael, okay. So the word is macrostructural. Trevor, give me one definition of macrostructural based upon this sentence. In other words, what could it mean? Big. And then what else could it mean? How would you describe an insect?
Small.
Small? Abby, how would you describe an insect? Never, you've seen insects, right? Gross. There we go. Calden? Icky. Love the sophisticated terminology. Colby? Living. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Good. Once again, nothing in the sentence helps me understand what the specific definition is. So Michael needs to rewrite in some way. Michael, do you have a good sense and good understanding of what macrostructural means? No, I didn't think so. And you know what? It's not a word that I commonly use either, Michael, so you shouldn't feel ashamed of that. I'm not quite sure how I would use it either, so I wouldn't. I wouldn't use it for my sentence. So just step around it. Don't use macrostructural if you don't understand what the word means. Delete again, please. Thank you. My mom decided to interrupt our conversation. Sammy, considering this sentence, what could interrupt mean? Stop. Good. What else, Miranda? What else could it mean? B. Join, yes. Anything else that it could mean? What else would you do with the conversation? Continue. Oh, yeah, that's good. Like we stopped earlier and now we're getting back into it. Join and continue, and especially continue, is the exact opposite of what the word means. Nothing in that sentence helps me understand it. What do? My mom decided to interrupt our conversation. Add some information. Why would somebody interrupt your conversation? Yeah. Something important to tell you. Good. Miranda, do it. Finish this sentence. My mom decided to interrupt our conversation. Sure. You got it. Because she, yeah, it's there. Space. Excellent. Thank you, Allie. Now that works. Notice the difference. This is a simple sentence, one clause. This is a complex sentence, two clauses. This is a complex sentence, two clauses. I'm willing to bet that if you include enough context clues, you're probably writing a multi-clause sentence. So think about that. In the time remaining, I'd like you to make sure that you have, and I tell you what, we're only going to look at the second criterion, that the context clues, that you have given feedback to your fellow student about the sentences. And this is the feedback. If you think, yay, it works, just right below it, good context clues, or yes, this helps me understand the sentence. If not, then write not enough context clues. So write that below, give the feedback, and then once the feedback is finished, make sure it gets back to its author. Lauren, you had a question?
Can you write something that they can put help with?
Yes, absolutely. If you can help them, write it.